Bismillah, as-salatu was-salamu ala rasulillah. As-salaamu alaikum, guys.
As-salaamu alaikum.
So it's Muslim developers here. We are looking at the lesson 3 of our habit builder app. Let's go into Xcode straight away. So here we have the app as we left it last time. Let's actually run it on simulator and see what we've got. So as you remember, last time we filled it programmatically with we built a table view and filled it programmatically with some data from the habit struct that we've created. So now our task is to fill the next screen, this screen, which we have here called new habit, fill it with actual UI.
Okay.
And then also demonstrate on how it interoperates with code. So we'll create a code class for it, a separate code class, and then try to connect the storyboards that we have with the code class itself through something called outlets. So let's go into it. Okay. I think we will start with the storyboard probably. Let's see what we have. So as usual, when we want to add new elements, we go to the plus. What should we have? We probably should have, we should add a label. Let's add everything that we need and then we'll position it. Then we go for something called text field. Then we will need one more label. Actually, let's reuse this label, but delete the constraints which we've added first, like with the centering, because we have to change the positioning. So I selected them and pressed delete. Okay, we will reuse this label, and then we add a slider, and on top of it we want probably not one but two buttons. So I pressed Command C and Command V, so I copied it and pasted it. So that's basically the same button copied over here. So let's now position it here for this label. If we enable the attributes inspector on the right side, probably we will say that this will be the title for our habit, and the position for it we will keep it as it is. So pressing Control and holding it, I dragged it to the left side and chose the leading constraint. Now doing the same, I dragged it to the top, and now I'm gonna choose top space to save area. So in other words, I said that, okay, if we click on it here, we have 26. So position it 26 points from the top, and if we click this one, and 20 points from the left side of the screen. So maybe 26 is too much, and 16 should be enough for us. And let's move the next thing. So this is the text field that we've added, and the position for the text field we will position in relation to the title, to the label that we have on top. We will add vertical spacing, and pressing and holding Control again, we will drag it to the left side of the screen and choose leading space. So as you see, we specified how far that it should be, again, 20 points from the left side and 5 points away from the title. Also, since it's a text field, I want it to go all the way to the right side. So I will also add trailing space and choose the constraint and put it maybe to, I think, let's put it to 20 for consistency. So we have 20 on the left side and 20 on the right side. For the label alaikum salam, let's do the vertical spacing, and also we can do the leading spacing to the left, but what I will do now, I will drag it to the text field and add some attribute called leading. So in other words, align them together. Probably this is too far away. Maybe 16 is enough to do that. And this will be This we will change to regularity. So on the right side, you can see with the attribute inspector that you can change many different attributes like the font, the alignment. It's a little bit like Word, or some other text editor. Maybe let's increase it to the size of 18 or even 19 to make it a little bit bigger and more easier to see.
So now the position of regularity depends on text field and position of text field depends on title.
Yes, so it's like we have a chain, right?
Right.
So title is relative to the top and then everything follows. And now that's actually the principle that we're going to use across the board. We will position our slider again according to the in correspondence to the regularity, add the leading constraint, add the vertical constraint, and also maybe make it small. Maybe 10 is enough. We don't need it to be too far. And then make it as long as the text field. So add trailing constraint. As you can see, we are now aligned with the text field on the right side and with the regularity label on the left side. We have two buttons. Let's position them. And we will add leading constraint, vertical spacing. Maybe give it a bit more spacing. 8 is not enough. Let's give it 16 because we have enough space. It shouldn't be a problem. Do a trailing here and vertical spacing here, similar to the previous one. How much did we do? We did 16, right? And now let's actually, we have this magical button that aligns everything for us. And let's do horizontal spacing between them. We should also add probably horizontal spacing between these two buttons, so if they do not jump together. And one way we can do it is to drag, pressing Control and add horizontal spacing. And the horizontal spacing that we want to say make it 25, size 25, but not equal, greater than equal. So it has to be 25 or more. The two buttons should not get closer than 25 points
so
from
it
each
helps
other.
to ensure that on smaller devices they won't collide.
Yes. I think one last touch that we can have is increase the font size for our buttons. Maybe make it 21, and that's pretty much it. Our UI is ready. Do you want to show how it can be connected with the code?
Yeah, good. So now what we need to do is we need to create a new controller and connect our new class to storyboard. For doing so, we will create a new file. Right click on any place in your project and say new file. Select here CocoaTouch class, because CocoaTouch is the main framework for all classes in iOS development. So we create a new class called at-Habit view controller, and we subclass it from UI view controller, so that it will be able to handle the screen on the storyboard. And the language we leave Swift. We press next, save it to our project. Here it is. So now we can connect this class to storyboard. For doing so, first in storyboard we need to tell to the controller that it will be managed by our new class. For doing so, you go for a fourth inspector called identity inspector, and here in the class field you just tell our new at-Habit view controller. Now the controller knows that, and Xcode knows that this controller is controlled by this class.
So we kind of created a connection between them.
Yeah. When we did this, we want to these fields to be connected to our controller so that we can manage it from the code. For doing so, in Xcode 11, you need to go for this button and then press Assistant. This will open another screen on the right, so that you take, for example, we start with text field, you press Control and drag it right to your code, so that you can see the blue line. And now you can create an outlet. Outlet is a connection from a storyboard to into the code. We call this titleLabel.
I think this is table text field, right? That you're adding at the moment.
Right. It's better to keep consistency.
That's right. That's right. So when we add some things, we first say the unique name and then also continue the name and declare the type.
Yeah.
So it's easy for us to recognize what it is just looking at the name of it.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
press connect. And now, as you can see in our code, we have connection through outlet with our text field, and it has type UI text field. So now we do the same for other elements. We press Control and we can drag either from storyboard or from this panel, doesn't matter. So we connect it and say regularity slider. Press connect. Now the magic happens when you come to buttons, because buttons have not only outlets, but they have actions that appear on them. For doing so, we can, if you connect button as an outlet, you can choose what type of connection you want to make, outlet or action. And this is the thing. Through outlet, you can control the appearance of the button and title of it and all this stuff. But through action, you can have additional option. Which action should be shown by this, should be represented by this connection. In our case, we choose touch up inside, and we call this cancelTapped. Press connect, and here, as you can see, we have created an action connection between our code and storyboard, so that when someone presses on the cancel, which were shown by the touch up inside type of connection, this method will be called.
And what I can notice straight away is that in the case of the title text field and regularity slider, we have variables, which are basically properties. And in the case, and these are outlets, right? And in the case of the action, it's not a property, but rather a function, a method where we can declare what happens.
True.
This is very nice.
This method will be called whenever action happens on the item.
Awesome. Also, is it the convention? Normally, when I looked at the project, I've noticed that most of the developers try to declare outlets above the viewDidLoad method and actions below the viewDidLoad method. So what do you think? Is it a convention or it's an optional thing?
It's an optional thing, but you're right, there is some type of convention so that developers try to be consistent inside of it. And in terms of actions, the convention of Swift, for now when Swift 5 came out, and I saw many developers declare their outlets and actions above the viewDidLoad method and all other internal methods under it, so that viewDidLoad represents some division line between something outer and your internal methods. We're doing the same for our save button. We drag it, pressing Control button, and we release, and same, we choose type of connection, action, and we type here saveTapped. The same as for outlets, we're trying to give understandable names to our method, so that looking at it, we can understand what type of connection is this, cancelTapped or saveTapped. We choose the same touch up inside, and we press connect. And to see that we actually connected our storyboard to code, let's add something interesting, which is connected to UX. So we want, when user opens our controller, we want this text field to become, as it's called, first responder, so that keyboard will appear on it, so the screen will be focused on it. Let's try. We're telling title text field become first responder method, and let's run our application.
Oh, I'm pretty excited. So this viewDidLoad method, it gets called every time the controller is initialized.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So at the very beginning, this method that we're calling become first responder, when we initialize the controller,
Yeah.
it will straight away call upon the title text field and make the keyboard appear.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
This is great. Let's see if it
Let's
works.
see. So we press plus button, and as you can see here, we have our UI which is connected, and the keyboard became first responder. So the whole controller is focused on it, and it right away starts responding to our actions.
This is awesome. This is the end of the first part. We learned how to add UI and specify the constraints between elements, and also we connected it to the code. And in the second part of this lesson, we will see how to fill the declarations of our UI in code with business logic.
Yeah, it will be nice.
So stay tuned, guys.
As-salaamu alaikum
Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.